Well, after the 2022 WWDC, one thing that's clear is that the long supported iPhone 6s series and the iPhone 7 series will most probably get its last main update in a couple of months, and that's it. From there on, those phones will be officially unsupported in terms of major software updates, and with the 6s series, well, that was pretty much expected, but then majority thought that maybe for this 1 year, the iPhone 7 series will be supported. But to be frank, Apple did support these devices with major updates for a long time, and hence this dropping of support for iOS 16 shouldn't be something to worry much. In fact, I think all these phones are still pretty much very usable for at least a year or so. Now, main software updates are great because it brings new features and also plenty of security patches, and that's always something that's needed. But here, even though iOS 16 won't be supported in the iPhone 7 series and below, well, you don't have to worry much about security updates. Because if there is something of a major concern, Apple will surely release a patch. But about the new features, well, that can't be added, and it's a miss, but still it's not something that's going to spoil your user experience with these old phones. And in fact, majority of the new main updates will be buggy till their 0.2 or 0.3 versions, and that's gonna take time. And in fact, the last iOS 15 update that will be released for the iPhone 7, 7 Plus, the 6s series will be best stable versions of iOS 15, and that's going to give a good user experience for these phones. So taking all this into consideration, if you are an iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, original iPhone SE, iPhone 7 or an iPhone 7 Plus user, well, what you now have is a device that will function in a pretty smooth manner, and almost all apps will be supported if there isn't any hardware restriction. And also from a security point of view, you're still not using a device that's vulnerable. And that makes these devices still a daily driver option. But by all this, you still need to think about stuff if you're planning to get a used one of any of these phones right now. Because if you're going to do that and you have found a unit which ticks all the criteria like the price, condition of the unit, battery health, etc., well then do keep in mind that after a year, like after the release of iOS 17 or so, some of the apps might not be supported, and then eventually you might face difficulties. So that's like setting a time limit for these phones. And hence if you're planning to get a used one of the iPhone 7 series or the 6s series or even the original iPhone SE, well then the pricing should be checked with this time limitation. Now most of these phones right now will have a very low battery health, but that can be fixed with a battery change, and it's not going to be very costly. So from a battery perspective, you can still make things better, and if you do that, well then these phones are still good. I mean, an iPhone 7 Plus for example is still a solid one in terms of materials used, and its design is sleek, then its display is a great LCD panel, and even its performance, it's not that bad. Now the cameras have limitations in challenging conditions, but when you compare with the competitors, the iPhone 7 Plus's camera does take some good photos. And these are the reasons why users still buy a used iPhone 7 Plus or 6s Plus or even the regular iPhone 7 or the iPhone 6s. And in fact, if you own one of these phones and you have no issues with it, well then as I stated, you can still use it for a year without missing much. And actually as a secondary device, these are still great options. And hence, even though Apple has stopped supporting these phones in terms of software updates, well these are still good phones. And in fact, an advantage I prefer with these phones over the newer iPhones is the metal body. It does give much more confidence to use the device without a case. Well, that's up for this video. And before you leave, I would love to know your thoughts about these phones as of now, and also if you own one, how's your unit holding up? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and if you liked this video, don't forget to like the video and also do subscribe for more future contents and support. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.